Coming up on TechZilla, USB 3.0, it's the new black. Android, it's the new iPhone. Daylight savings time is ending. We're doomed. Cellular keyboards are favorite places to find music online. BlueCon, and a box full of your viewer questions. So grab the soy sauce and dunk that taco, because TechZilla starts now. This episode of TechZilla is made possible by the HP DV7T with Beats Audio and the smart Intel Core i5 processor. GoToAssist Express supports smarter with GoToAssist Express. And Squarespace. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Welcome to TechZilla, hands-on reviews, the latest tech and how to make the most out of the gear you've already got.
Whether you're a beginner or tech support for your friends and family, if you've got a question about tech or why no one seems to be giving out pixie sticks for Halloween anymore, we've got an answer for you.
And if we don't, we'll track down someone who does. Sorry, the whole pixie sticks thing got me. I didn't see a single pixie stick in my son's bag.
I think it's for the best.
Really? The
Yeah.
whole pixie stick snorting sugar mayhem
It's dangerous.
sinus infection thing?
It's dangerous.
Call me a geek, but I get all giddy over a little bit of keyboard news. Enter Logitech's wireless solar keyboard K750, which solves the old frack! My fracking wireless keyboard battery's fracking died and I can't fracking type until I go to the fracking store problem. Well, I don't really have that problem because I, of course, use rechargeables. But if you've ever had your wireless keyboard run out of batteries, this no problem gone. They put solar cells across the top of a 1/3 of an inch thin keyboard, and they tied it in with Logitech's unifying receiver tech, so no Bluetooth wasting your battery problem here.
So, Geek Boy, you do remember that you live in San Francisco where the sun doesn't shine basically 6 months out of the year, right?
Logitech says they claim it can last up to 3 months without light. So if you want to type in the dark, you got 3 months. Wait, and you can juice it up from a desk lamp should you live in a cave or San Francisco.
Desk lamp makes sense.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a desk lamp on once in a while.
We would hope. And they've got a downloadable solar app that'll measure the light from your desk lamp should you live in San Francisco or a cave, or the actual light from the sun in most of the rest of the United States. The program, battery levels, it'll even warn you when you need more power. Turn on the desk lamp, the keyboard is about to die.
That's the worst part, the warning. None of those keyboards have warnings, so then, like you said, one day you're just kaput.
Why did my keyboard stop? This one has a warning. 80 bucks. Not cheap for a keyboard, but I am actually tempted to give up my hardwired USB keyboard again.
Very nice.
Try once again to go wireless on the keyboard. The last, probably, Serafina can tell you about it. What happened the last time I went wireless with the keyboard.
And hey, Android is gaining momentum. The NPD group says that the iPhone 4 and Curve 8500 had the spots #1 and #2 in the 3rd quarter this year. But Android of Google and Open Handset Alliance fame was loaded on 44% of the handsets sold in Q3. All Things D's media memo, where we first caught wind of the NPD report, was quick to note that BlackBerry's market share was dropping. We're talking about a lot of handsets, people. Roughly 80 million cell phones were sold in the quarter worldwide. Smartphones, they're the new PC, seriously. Oh, and if you use your iPhone to wake up in the morning, watch out for daylight savings time change. You're fine if you use it to wake up every day at the same time, but not if your repeating alarm is set for weekdays, weekends, or a single day a week. You'll get an alarm, it'll just be off by about an hour. Engadget says the iPhone bug has already hit Australia and Europe, and barring a code update from Apple, looks like it'll be irritating US iOS users as well. Yay. So you might want to set an extra alarm clock. And hey, DST ends in the US this Sunday, November 7th at 2 a.m.
So
that's fall back, spring ahead, right?
Yeah.
So we gain an hour, right? Fall back, spring forward.
Yes,
so we get an extra
back.
hour of sleep, right?
I think we turn the clock back an hour in the fall.
Yes! Yes, but it gets darker sooner, which is fine. I kind of like it when it's dark in the wintertime. It means you get to like cozy up, and it's nice.
More hours inside with my son.
It's raining like
climbing
every
the
weekend
ceiling.
in San Francisco, which is my favorite.
It's been sunny in Alameda.
Oh.
Sunny,
Well, that's why
sunny,
you can live there, and I'll
sunny.
live in San Francisco where it
That's
rains
okay.
every weekend.
And they don't hate children in Alameda.
What?
They just have to build a climbing wall on the inside of the apartment.
All right, well, let's fire up our first viewer question. RD writes in, I understand you did an episode on the coming USB 3.0 and the different interpretations of what is supposed to be an IEEE standard. That's IEEE. Can you give me the episode number so I can download it? Thanks, RD. He does research and development.
Or he is research and development.
He is the research and development department. I don't think we did a big segment on USB 3.0, also known as Super Speed USB, but I know Patrick's been using it at home. Seriously though, RD, USB 3.0 is here.
It's here. Seriously, short answer, who cares about IEEE specs for USB 3? It's on store shelves, it works, and it makes data transfers stupid fast. On a more serious note, the managing body of USB specs isn't the IEEE, it's the USB Implementers Forum. The spec was completed by the USB 3.0 Promoter Group back in November of 2008, and the first certified products were shown in January this year back at CES. I don't know if the USB Implementers Forum has like a relationship with IEEE, but I don't care, because the products, they are on the shelves. Any battling has been finished like back in 2008. Now, Ryan Shrout over at PCPro.com turned me on to the Asus U3S6 PCI Express board. Mine cost me $25 online. It's got 2 USB 3.0 ports and 2 SATA 6 gigabit per second ports for your motherboard. 6 gigabit per second SATA, useless for improving hard drive speed because the SATA pipeline is bigger than your hard drive can fill at this point. But USB 3.0, very big improvement. It's just starting to show up on motherboards in a big way. I'm not ready to drop another $300 for a new motherboard, but if you want to make file transfers and system backups to an external drive a lot faster, USB 3.0 is pretty amazing. Think about moving data 5 or 6 times as fast as a USB 2.0 connection to the same hard drive, at least if you put it in a USB 3.0 enclosure. To get slightly nerdy, USB 3.0 adds a new full duplex transfer mode to the USB spec, packs additional wires inside a new plug, which can be implemented in the standard A format in your motherboard or your PCI card. It looks like a regular USB port, or a new standard B format, which is found in USB 3.0 devices. The standard A plug, by the way, which looks like the USB plug, works just fine with regular USB 2.0 and 1.0 devices. I'm using a basic USB 3.0 docking station. It costs like $25. You basically drop the drives into it, and it fits 2.5 and 3-inch drives. There are also 2.5 and 3-inch USB 3 enclosures, along with a lot of flash drives that are just hitting the market. I am dying. I want my phone to be USB 3.0. Because when my phone is USB 3.0, I just want my iPhone to magically turn into a USB 3.0 device overnight, because instead of like 30 or 40 minutes to swap the music on it, I could swap the music in like 5 minutes.
You got a lot of music on there.
Yes, gigabytes.
Nice.
I actually have to give up on the lossless files on the iPhone, because it's like the amount of music I can stuff on my iPhone it needs more storage. I need a terabyte iPhone.
Someday.
Coming up next, BlueCon Report. But first, let's thank one of our sponsors.
If you work with clients and colleagues to resolve computer issues, I have an incredible remote support tool that will make you look like a hero while saving you time and money, and of course, boosting productivity. Go to Assist Express, brought to you by Citrix, lets you easily resolve computer issues in real time, or after hours while your customers are away from their computers, allowing you to be more productive. In fact, on average, Go to Assist Express users report a 40% increase in productivity. That's like getting 2 extra workdays back a week. Texilla viewers can try Go to Assist Express free for 30 days. For this special offer, visit gotoassist.com/Texilla. That's gotoassist.com/Texilla for a free trial. Looks like it's time for another website we just can't get enough of. A website that we just can't stay away from because it's too useful, too funny, or just too darn irresistible. This week's pick, Bleco.com. Bleco is a different kind of search engine, one that aims to better contextualize your search results. They try to do this by using slash tags, which tell the engine what kind of information and from what kind of websites you're seeking it out on. These slash tags work because they're being edited by actual human beings, who can choose the sites that will be included within a specific tag. For example, the /health tag is very useful if you're looking for a remedy, but don't want to be inundated by spam sites or fly-by-night herbal remedies that someone is trying to sell on the web. If I search for headache cure /health, I get results from trusted sources like WebMD or the Mayo Clinic. If you want information on politics, for example, you can use the /liberal or /conservative tags to only see blogs on one side of the coin or the other, or look for funny political commentary using the /humor tag. If you think there's a slash tag missing, make it yourself. Users can apply to be editors once they've created a profile on the site, and help manage certain slash tags by adding useful websites to the list. To get even geekier, they have direct access to third-party APIs like Twitter, YouTube, or Amazon to quickly see results from those sites. And you can get pretty creative with the tags to search for news within certain dates, get weather data, or find all the safe for work results on Paris Hilton by using the /no porn tag. Check it out today at Bleco.com. Earlier this week, Patrick Norton put on his HD Nation hat and joined Robert Heron in Beverly Hills 90210 at BlueCon 2010, the annual gathering of all things Blu-ray. Did they manage to corner James Cameron to talk Avatar and HD? Well, let's roll the clip.
As close as you're going to get to the theatrical experience at home, that was Martin Scorsese talking about Blu-ray at BlueCon 2.0 last year. What's going on this year?
This year, it's all about expanding the marketplace for Blu-ray format. That also includes a lot of 3D, and we're also hearing from a lot of the studio executives about their plans, particularly with the future of online delivery.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. BlueCon 2010, that's the gathering this year. One of the keynotes, well, we'll talk about James Cameron and John Lando in a second, but Amazon's chief, basically if you bought video or audio through any form of Amazon, a guy named Bill Carr was probably in charge of that. He's been analyzing the data about why people do or do not buy Blu-ray. Had some really interesting stuff to say. One of the thing that blew my mind was 5 years in after the launch of DVD, 20,000 titles on DVD. Right, no.
Oh, 5 years
in
into
on Blu-ray.
You're right.
5,000 titles. So he feels that one of the things he's getting from the Amazon audience is like, why don't we see more titles? That was kind of his call to the studio chieftains. We want more content. He also wants everything connected to Wi-Fi in terms of Blu-ray players, but we'll get into that later on.
Really interesting reason behind that.
Yeah, the other interesting reason was the 28-day windows. The studio chiefs all talked about kind of like profitability and video on demand and the challenges and why they've negotiated things like the 28-day window with Netflix. And the result of that is actually more profits.
Of course, that's why they do it.
Duh, you know.
Well, it gives an opportunity for more distribution channels prior to that disc being made available for rent.
Well, actually, in this case, it's actually the 28 days is they have 28 days to sell the discs before they show up online.
That too. But I was also thinking, Mike, for cable distribution, we can offer that movie as a pay-per-view event before it's available on disc, and that's one of the things they're doing.
Definitely, and one of the things they're doing basically is figuring out how to make more money off the movie, which means the 28-day sort of blockade for online distribution is going to remain in place. But they're saying in exchange for that, they're giving more titles to companies like Netflix or Amazon Video on Demand, and they're doing it in better quality. The big draw, though, Cameron and Landau?
Without a doubt. Two powerful directors, producer-director combination. Not both directors, obviously. Classic movies, but they're passionate about the format itself. Blu-ray, for one specific reason, quality. You get the best quality of anything they can do. And for their 3D work, which arguably they're pioneers of this field right now, it's the only format available to consumers that gives you the full quality of that. And they kept harping on it, not harping, but they kept reiterating over and over and over the quality that's capable out of this format. There's nothing else like it, here or in the future.
And one of the interesting things with James Cameron talking about what it really takes to make a good-looking 3D movie, because this is a man that thinks 3D is going to be everywhere in a couple of years. You want to see more from BlueCon 2010, including why Amazon thinks every Blu-ray player should have Wi-Fi. And, of course, we've got James Cameron, John Landau, Rita Belda. She's basically the archivist in charge of Sony's archives. This is all the Columbia movies. Bridge on the River Kwai, this is the woman who'll make it so beautiful. Check out next week's episode of HDNation.tv. Look for the HDNation.tv/BlueCon 2010.
Coming up next, music laptop equals awesome. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Squarespace.com. Looking for a better way to host your website? Maybe build an amazing website without spending a lot of money? You should be looking at Squarespace.com. It's flexible. We're talking about hosting, integrated tools, WYSIWYG, drag and drop, make an amazing website, whether it's something simple like a blog, a personal portfolio for all of your photography, or a major sales store, no matter what kind of coding experience you have. Squarespace has tools to give you, well, to help you create a high-end complex website that is your own without dropping big bucks. A little worried you might have a question? Don't, because Squarespace offers every single user 24/7 support. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Squarespace is there for you. They also have the Squarespace iPhone app for you. Recently upgraded, they've got some pretty cool features like full HTML blog editing on the go and comment moderation. So if you've got people who want to push their comments on there, you can get push notifications, approve new comments, mark existing comments as spam, reply to comments, and quite a bit more, all from your iPhone. You like your website? You'll like it more if you go to squarespace.com and see how they can host and help you build a better website. And be sure to use the code TechZilla when you check out. You get 2 weeks of a free trial on Squarespace. Then they ask you to get get the credit card. When you do, use the code TEXZILLA. You'll get 10% off the lifetime of your order. That is a really good deal. What? A sponsor wants us to do a series of segments on music and audio? I'm in. You?
I'm in, yeah.
We're
Sounds
in.
good.
We like the music and the audio, so let me take a moment to introduce our sponsor, the HP DV7T with Beats Audio. Powered by the smart Intel Core i5 processor. Yes, Dr. Dre in the form of Beats Audio has fine-tuned this HP DV7T and other HP notebooks from netbooks up to a full-on Core i7 desktop replacement for amazing audio. I grabbed the house set of AKGs, which costed a little bit more than my first car, dropped Iron Man 2 into the DV7T, and frankly was shocked to find that I was impressed. Well, more impressed than I thought I'd be. Hitting Function B. Let me see if I can get the Function B thing to work from up above.
There it is.
We want that letter. That basically, Function B turns the Beats audio processing on. And I hate audio processing, but I was listening to movies, Iron Man 2 soundtrack, and it kind of, well, they boosted the low end and opened up the sound a little bit. I'm curious. I'm still trying to find out from HP what they're doing. I'm going to do some more extensive music listening because we just got this in-house. In any case, Veronica, let's talk about the best places to listen to music online.
Well, personally, I mainly use Rdio to listen to music online these days. I'm always discovering new albums by checking out what my friends have added to their collection, and I love their collaborative playlists. I made one of music from BioShock 1 and 2 and Fallout 3 in New Vegas, and it's awesome. But I still love some of my old favorites like Last.fm. I still Scrabble everything I listen to. Pandora, because their algorithm seems to magically know what I want to listen to at that very moment. And of course, iTunes, when I want to listen to my old college radio station, WERS.
Now remember, Beats Audio, Beater Desktop, your janky old notebook, doesn't matter. Your listening experience is only as good as the source files. Higher quality files like, say, carefully ripped CD audio and WMA Apple or FLAC lossless make for a better listening experience. Garbage in, garbage out. If you want to give your audio geek on and really give your audio system a workout, check out hdtracks.com. This is the place I've been spending a lot of time online lately. Purchase some albums in, say, 96 kilohertz 24-bit FLAC, which is higher resolution than a CD pack. So you'll need Media Monkey or Songbird to play them, but it might be interesting. You can basically experiment with high-resolution audio. They got tons of classical and jazz. Some of Coltrane's finest work is up there. They got early Sun records like Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee Lewis to brand new stuff from the Libertines, British Sea Power, and one of my favorites, Vampire Weekend. Check it out. Get your audio geek on, people.
Coming up next, more of your viewer questions, but first, a word from our sponsors.
I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, HP's DV7T with Beats Audio, powered by the smart Intel Core i5 processor. Touched by the hands of Dre, or more importantly, designed with his ears, HP and Beats Audio are on a mission to bring you music the way the artist intended it to be heard. And I'm not talking about headphones here. No, Beats Audio is inside this notebook, so it'll work with any headphones or speakers you want. And hey, the subwoofer inside the DV7T, they tell me it's optimized for studio quality sound. And the DV7T is ready for just about any computing task you want to throw at it. We're talking about solid notebook specs, Core i5 CPU, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and a big honkin' hard drive, all feeding a brilliant HP display. Notice the lovely brushed aluminum case with a True Vision webcam for crystal clear chat. HP's DV7T with Beats Audio, a notebook that wants to help you experience music the way the artist intended it to be heard.
Tony out in Germany has a question about the new MacBook Air. He writes, the MacBook Air has its flash memory fixed in the motherboard. I was wondering if an SSD fails on a normal computer, you could simply replace it. With the new MacBook Air, will I depend on Apple's expensive service to get it repaired? Tony in Germany. Well, not necessarily. First off, the MacBook Air's SSD or flash drive isn't soldered to the motherboard. It's held in by a single screw at one end and a weird SATA-ish connector on the other. So if you can actually find a compatible drive and you don't mind tracking down a 5-point security Torx screwdriver tip or filing down a screwdriver to get one to fit like the iFixit people did to get around Apple's attempt to lock down the case, well, the SSD is user replaceable. Woohoo! Our friends at iFixit show you exactly how to do this in their teardown of the 11-inch MacBook Air, at least if you can find an SSD that will fit in that Air.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say the MacBook Air got my wife's finally showed in like the day after we shot our show last week. Wonderful piece of engineering, beautiful, solid, fast, and it won't sit there and howl with giant fans of doom because there's a flash ad somewhere in Chrome, so I'm very happy about that. The SSD drive, it's kind of an unusual, it's mini PCI Express or a weird SATA connector on the SSD. I was kind of shocked to see PhotoFaster, a Taiwanese electronics manufacturer, advertising a 256 gigabyte upgrade kit for the MacBook Air on their site, photofast.tw. No ship date, no price, and they're looking for distributors everywhere in the world except for Japan. But hey, they can make a compatible drive, and you've got an upgrade pass that doesn't involve a trip to the Computer Genius. And by the way, if the drive fails before your warranty is up, that's a manufacturer's issue, and they should probably replace that for free.
Yes.
The expensive service comes later.
Yeah, and it does come. I was just stoked to see PhotoFast Drive Kit packs a USB adapter to transfer the data off your old drive, which is always very nice. Next up is Dave with his email. He asks, I wanted to dual boot my netbook with Ubuntu or Jolly Cloud, but I'm nervous since I can't find any antivirus, firewall, or security apps for those operating systems. Any ideas? I just don't feel secure using any OS without some kind of virus protection. Dave.
Dave sounds like a Windows user.
Well, yeah, well, nothing is completely impervious to viruses, of course, but it's a pretty safe bet that a netbook running either Ubuntu or Jolly Cloud will be pretty free from viruses, since most bugs are built for Windows machines and can't work their magic on Linux. It's kind of a pretty safe environment at this point. It's kind of the same reason why there aren't a ton of Mac viruses out there. The probability for harm is just way on the low end of things.
At least until somebody who's like, that's it, I'm tired of people sandbagging on Windows.
Well,
I'm going to write a killer OS X virus.
That's the thing. I mean, there's been competitions to do that, and they're out there. Or, I mean, we're not saying they're not, but it's just your likelihood is way down, especially for the Ubuntu Jolly Cloud users out there.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about ClamAV in the past, which is a command line virus detector, not remover, just detector, that can be used on Linux, Mac, or PC. You want to look for a ClamWin or ClamXAV, I think, which are the graphical interfaces for the command line stuff for Mac and PC. ClamTK is the graphical one for Ubuntu, if that's more your style. Also check out Avast, AVG, and FProd as other virus solutions for Linux. I'm sure the viewers out there have a few suggestions and thoughts of their own on the matter, you know, whether or not you actually need virus antivirus protection, virus anti-protection. What would that be?
I would like to infest
I would like to
machine.
install a virus right on my machine, yeah. But Jolly Cloud, I think they just came out, or they're coming out soon with a new build.
I just like the idea of running a command line thing to search for viruses, and it's like, I've got a virus.
Now what?
Yeah.
Now what do I do?
I'm sure we'll get an email on what to do next in that case.
I'm expecting Computer Man to come in big on this answer.
Dun, dun, dun.
He's the resident Linux guy in the forums. Mark from Michigan has a home theater question. He emails, is there a Blu-ray player that can access content from local computers? I've been looking into set-top boxes that play back, for instance, your show from my computer. I've given up on subscription television, so something like the new Logitech Review would be overkill in my humble opinion. Mark in Michigan. Well, Mark, assuming that you have a home network set up, either wired or wireless, the answer is yes. You want to look for a Blu-ray player that's going to be DLNA certified. The Digital Living Network Alliance is a consortium of various consumer electronic companies and service providers who've come together with a big hug to come up with common standards to allow the sharing of content between various devices much easier. Although the first wave, is this the... Yay, different media formats and all things working together in harmony. I don't know what this guy is. He's like...
Work together in harmony.
Okay, they're all working together in harmony for your set-top box enjoyment. As I mentioned, I refer you to the set-top box mega list. Check the Blu-ray and DLNA rows to find the boxes you're looking for. Other options also include the PS3 or a home theater PC with a Blu-ray drive.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be kind of crazy. Actually, one thing I should point out is a lot of people emailed in both to HC Nation and to Techzilla to say, hey, dude, TiVo, built-in over-the-air tuners, so you don't necessarily need to have cable or DirecTV to get the goodness that is TiVo for organizing your media, because it's a pretty good media player. So I wanted to point that out, one. Two, in a couple years, the general consensus is that almost all of this functionality, including the Google TV, will be available inside of most televisions. It's amazing how fast they're upgrading the power and the performance and the accessibility inside of HD TVs.
Yeah, he might already be set up if he's got a PS3 or an Xbox, because both the PS3 cross media bar and the XMBC are both DLNA compatible. Although I guess the Xbox wouldn't have a Blu-ray player, which is something he's looking for. But there's a lot of devices out there that can play Blu-ray ISO disc, ISO drive, ISO files,
not as many
ISO files as well
as we would like.
Words are hard to say. Finally, Aaron sends us this awesome tip for iPad users. He writes in, On the latest, I gotta get rid of these. They're just distracting me. It's becoming a puppet show. On the latest Texzilla, Veronica talked about waiting for iOS 4.2 to come out so she could print from her iPad. Actually, already running it, and I haven't gotten it to print yet, but I haven't even tried, so that's beside the point. Coincidentally, I had just written a blog post a few days before describing how to do it for free on iOS 3.2 using nothing more than Dropbox and a standard tool that came in Mac OS X. I'm sure it doesn't have any place near all the features that will be available in the next few weeks with official built-in OS support, but what do you expect for free? Keep on hacking, Aaron. Aaron, this tip is totally awesome. It's really great. The trick is to set up a free Dropbox account, and then to create an automator action that prints items placed into that folder automatically. The Dropbox application for iPad is already a must-have, so this really ramps up its value.
Woohoo!
Just send it to print, away it goes.
And into the magic of Dropbox. We heart Dropbox.
We do indeed.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, for everybody out there watching, we live on your questions, so email us, techzilla@revision3.com. TechL, product reviews, how-tos. You ask us, we'll do it, but we need those emails, so don't be shy. Send them in to techzilla@revision3.com.
Even better, send us in a video question. Think of all the fun you can have and the admiration of all your friends and family when they see your mug on our show. Just keep it to 15 seconds, upload it to YouTube, and send us a link in an email with video question in the subject line. And as always, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Techzilla. Thank you guys so much for watching.
I'm Patrick Dorton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Until next time, you've been watching Techzilla. We can feel. I just completely lost my train of thought. I was like laughing about the image of someone sucking up a pixie stick in their nostril, because I've seen someone do that. It's a horrifying thing.
And bearing a code update from Apple.
Barring.
Jesus Christ!
Bearing your code update, you nasty minx.
Bearing.
She like totally bared her code update. It was
Boring.
gnarly,
Thank you.
dude. In 3, 2.
Oh, I wasn't ready yet, sorry. Go ahead.
Are
Sorry.
you sure?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Are you done? In 3, 2.